Good morning, everybody, and welcome to what I'm going to call Sunday Conversation. Well, Sunday morning, just made me a hot cup of joe and filled up the wood stove with a bunch of wood, and I'm getting ready to tie a fly. Sunday mornings around here are probably my favorite, just because it's so quiet before everybody gets up, and not everybody, my wife. And so what I thought I'd do today is just talk to you while I clean up my bench and tie a fly. This video is really not about a certain fly, but some things I was wanting to talk to you guys about. And also, any ideas that might come along the way as we enjoy Sunday morning. So, here we go. I don't know if this is going to be 5 minutes or an hour. We'll find out. Coffee's good today. You may have noticed my wife got on me about my beard, so thought I better oblige her and get out the razor. Won't be long, it'll be hunting season. It'll be back on. Alright, well, I had a good week. I did get sick this week, but besides that, it was a good week. Got to acquire a new reel this week for my new Sage Helios 7-weight spey rod I got. And, well, it's not really a spey rod. I guess it'd be more of a Scandi, but spey, Scandi, still trying to figure all that stuff out. But thank God for good friends like John Hazlitt and Jerry French and all them guys that they know. And the line guru Will Johnson from Ashland Fly Shop. Anyway, the reel I got is a Redington. A Redington Rise in 910. Yeah. Got it from Sportsman's Warehouse. That's where I worked, for those of you who don't know that. I was in the fishing department for about 6 years, and then I moved over to the hunting department, and I've been there for, well, going on there now 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. So, no, 5 years. I think this is 5th year. Can't remember. Doesn't matter. Here's my new reel. Check that out. Yeah. Isn't that a beauty? Cool. Yeah. Gonna be fishing this real soon. Maybe next Sunday. Mike Brown. So, yeah, my buddy Mike Brown, he just started up a guide service. Brand new to the scene of guiding, but not brand new to fishing. This guy's sharp. He's got good equipment, nice boat. Young feller. And if you want any information about Mike here in the Rogue River area, I'd be happy to turn you on to him. He'd be a good trip, a good day, good people there. Anyway, the line. Yeah, the line. We put a 100 yards of 30-pound chartreuse Dacron backing on there. And then we put on the Rio Connect Core metered shooting line. This changes color every 5 meters, I think it is. 5 yards, 5 something. Let's see here. Does it tell me? I don't have the box. only took the spool. I'll have to do a little research on that for us. But that's really cool because as you strip out line, you can count the number of colors, and then you know exactly how far you're casting. There's no more lying with you, telling your buddies how far you're launching your bombs, right? And then we put on a Skagit Max Short 475 grain for that particular rod. Looking forward to casting this. My guru of a caster, John Hazlitt, tells me this should be very easy to cast compared to what I've been using and started on, which was a Redington 7-weight Chromer full spay rod with a 525 head on it, I think it is. But anyway, I'm starting to learn the lines and understand much more than I did before, but I'm still like not even close to the Will Johnson world. Sometimes when that guy talks about line, I'm here to tell you, it's like, why am I, he might as well be speaking Chinese. No offense to my Facebook buddies over there. Nakamura. I like that guy. There's a bunch of them. You know, let's talk about Facebook and social media for a minute. A lot of people just like hate it and like, I'll never use it and it's horrible and it wastes all my time and blah blah blah. But it has some pretty cool things. I'm a bit of a loner, don't have a ton of friends, but man, I got a bunch of Facebook friends, and they're coming from all over the world. The world, okay? And it's been pretty neat to get to kind of know them. It's never the same as a face-to-face or a real-life relationship where you can see somebody's body language and talk to them. But anyway, I just really been enjoying the fact that so many people are just wanting to connect, because I'm kind of tend to be a little bit laid back loner, kind of leave me alone guy, but it's been good for me. So anyway, oh yeah, one other piece of equipment I acquired this week, not from the world of fly tying. Rabbit trail alert, rabbit trail alert. Scotty got himself a new Diamondback Vortex tactical scope for his 284 Winchester. I'm gonna have some fun with this. You betcha. Alright. Coffee. Last night I was planning on doing some time, but Mama wanted to watch a... Not Mama. My wife, Heidi. You want to see a picture? Oh, this is amazing. Look at this. This is my wife, Heidi. I am a blessed man. Yeah. She's awesome. She wanted to watch a movie last night, so we didn't do much tying. And so I told her I would get up early and come and do my tying. And a buddy called me real quick before we started watching the movie, so I started sitting here talking to him, and while I was talking, I was tying. Came up with this little guy. Let me show you what we came up with last night. Recently purchased a friend of the family, well, not a friend, a member of the family's ex-father-in-law, who was a fly tyer, passed away. I did not know this man, but he was quite a fly tyer, and he had quite a bit of stuff. and his daughter was selling it, and so I made a generous offer to help her out, and plus obtain. Really wasn't sure what I was getting, but some fly tie materials. So I paid her, and she sent it to me, and oh my goodness, I scored big time. One of the things I scored was this. Where'd it go? It was some Orvis white mink strips. Yeah. I don't have the packaging handy, but it's around here somewhere. Is this it? No, that's it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're really cool short hair. It's a kind of a cross between a long rabbit hair and a short pine squirrel hair. It's kind of between them, two of them. And I've been trying to find just really good bright white ones, and this is what we came up with. Oh yeah, look at that tail. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good stuff, Maynard. No big deal. Oh, look at the inside of that. Chartreuse. Yeah, right on. Anyway, blue bead. I just put a pink EP brush over the top of it and tied some ostrich in it. No big deal. But pretty cool flag. Put some flash in it too. Anyway, I kind of made a mess, so I got to clean it up, and I thought I'd do it as we talk. I wanted to run a few things by you that I've been thinking about. I was like, okay, what's my next video I'm going to do for everybody? And, that was a bit of some brain power going on, because I was trying to figure out, what do I want to do? And I'm not really sure. Ended up deciding that I'd just do the Sunday morning conversation so I could get a few things maybe out. And one of the things was, hey, if you guys want to see a certain something, or you have questions on a certain something, you can either personal message me on my Facebook page, or maybe write it in the comments here on the video. But I was just looking for some ideas on maybe what you want to see, and then we can go from there. I've got a few ideas of my own I would like to do. I'm probably going to do one on the building of a composite loop, the actual building process of the making the taking materials and lining them up, and material handling for that, and talk about just composite loops in general. And then the other one I wanted to do was the other video I wanted to do was just materials in and of themselves. Learned a few things from Jay Nicholas that I'd like to share with you about materials, and I just thought it'd be interesting for maybe the closer to the beginner side of things to understand a few things about materials that will help you down the road with your fly tying, for sure. Man, this coffee's good this morning. I could be in trouble. This is only cup one. Yeah. So, any ideas that you may have, just if you could get me those, we'll see if we can come up with something. I'm feeling a little too high. I'm gonna drop my seat down a little. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Oh, I gotta put the composite loop juice away. It's only water. Anyway, what else? That can go there, and that can go there. Let's think here. The river, the Rogue River. Well, I live in Rogue River, Oregon, and the Rogue River starts up in the tailwaters, or the headwaters are up in coming out of the Crater Lake area. Come down into Butte Falls, and then they come into the Lost Creek Reservoir, where they hold the water back for the summer and feed the river from there. The river is broken up into three sections. the upper, the lower, or the upper, the middle, and the lower. Some would call it the upper, middle, lower, and scenic, because after the lower part, you really kind of, you gotta have special permits to get in there and special equipment, and basically it's it's wild and it's scenic and there's nothing and for miles but the river, and it's a pretty cool place actually. I've never took the trip all the way out to the coast on like a camping trip. I have a good friend named Bob Evans who works for Noah's Adventures, and he takes folks down there fishing and camping all summer long on those 3 and 4 day trips. Those are really cool. And so anyway, the river experienced the first really big blowout of the year, and we're recovering from that right now. On the way home from work, I stopped and checked the color, and it's starting to get a little color back to it. Um, well, it's starting to clear up. You know, let's let's talk about that for a minute. I was thinking about this when somebody says, "Does the river have a little color?" Well, that means yes, it's stained and it's getting a little muddy compared to clear. But then when it goes back the other way, it doesn't gain color. It just clears up. So it's starting to clear up a little bit. It is probably fishable from probably fishable from the Tuvell area in Medford to Shady Cove today, and that line of fishability will go down into the Grants Pass area the next 3 or 4 days after it starts to clear up, and from like Tuvell to Grants Pass is, I don't know, I'm guessing 20 miles of river, and that'll be good to get the river back fishing again. And it should have brought up a really nice fresh batch of steelhead. Now I'm starting to sound like Will Johnson on the fishing report. I don't know. Nobody's caught one that I know of, and I haven't heard anything. This is all just Scott's guess. Let's call it that. It's a guess. Anyway you look at it, if you get out on a river today, go out and do it. Just to wet a line and practice your casting, and hopefully you hook up on a fish. That would be good. I am itching to hook up on a good one. Yeah. All right. I gotta put this reel away because I need some space. I'm trying out a new thing today with my recording. You can actually record right from the YouTube channel, and I'm hoping it downloads quicker, but we'll see. Like I told everybody before, I really don't have a fancy camera, and we're just using my smartphone, and I don't have any editing equipment yet. And so, but I got some good buddies like Jay Nicholas. I was in his studio the other day, and man, it is the cat's meow setup. I might share that video if I get his permission with you, and so you can see it. It's really nice. And then, of course, Gunnar Brammer, I contacted him this week and asked him a few tips about the YouTube. How do I make this better, and what do I need to do, and what should I concentrate on? And he responded quickly with some really good advice on a bunch of other topics and stuff involved with it. Great advice, good wisdom. And one of the things he told me is that he would help me with editing. So I'm not sure how that all works, and I got to do. It's almost like going to school for me because I am not a techie guy at all. I mean, I had a flip phone up until this Christmas when I got this phone, and my wife bought it for me. Thank God for that. This has been the technological breakthrough I've had lately. Whoa! What was I thinking for not trying to delve off into it more and better and understand it in a way that was like, I was a hermit. I was a caveman from Grants Pass. For those of you who don't know it, the mascot for the Grants Pass High School is the caveman. Anyway, I'm really not sure what fly I want to tie this morning. I got to put away a few materials. You know, I really enjoy the Hobo Spay, and I really enjoy Intruders. I really enjoy Single Station. I just call them, I don't know what to call a single station. It's got one part to it, kind of like a Hobo Spay does. But you know, on these fly patterns, I was having some conversations with Mike McGovney and Jerry French and Doug Brudico from Aquaflies. Last time I was up, I was recently able to join those guys in the Aquaflies camp on the Skagit River up in Washington. And one of the conversations we were having was, you know, fly patterns, fly names. And one of the pieces of advice that Mike gave me was, you know, don't ever put a name on a fly. And, you know, I like to tie up a fly that's just like freestyle and give it a goofy name. I always ask Heidi to name it for me. She comes up with the coolest names. Just for my own sake, like, you know, I just tied a such and such, and so when I look for it in the box and I think of that name, it's a personal thing that goes on in my fishing world. But when it comes to these patterns, the traditional Spay and D guys, they're pretty tight about making sure that it follows a certain book and pattern and name, and you know, and you don't go off base there. And let me tell you, I started tying some traditional flies with them guys on Spay Tire page, and enjoyed it. Met a lot of cool people, learned a lot of cool things. But to be quite honest with you, I just really didn't like what happened if I put a certain something on a certain fly that wasn't really supposed to be there, and it wasn't too well welcomed. Let's just put it that way. And so anyway, I just like to freestyle and don't want to claim fame to anything. But at the same time, there are some certain patterns, like the Hobo Spay. It's tied a certain way, has a dubbing ball and a wrapped piece of hackle. And before you wrap the hackle, you usually dress the shank with dubbing, and then you're up to the head already. And it's very sparse, and you can, you know, use all kinds of colors and different variations, if you will. But there are a lot of my flies that I tie, kind of like Jason Osborne. I'd rather tie one fly that I like and dig, and it's got some certain things going on for me that gives me that good vibe, and just enjoy tying it. It's creative, it's different, it's not following a pattern. You thought of it. But at the same time, if I had to go and tie it all over again, I'm not sure I could remember what I just did. And it's not like a set pattern where a commercial tyer would tie 24 of this size, this color, all consistently tied. I can do that. I just got done with the big 4 dozen order for John Hazlitt, and I can do it. Doesn't bother me too bad. But I prefer to just Sunday morning is the time. Drink coffee, be quiet, just take your every bit of your materials that you can drum up in your mind or see, and go for it. Just go for it. I don't think there's probably too much more that can be done as far as attempts at trying to create something new, but I say keep trying, because you never know. I'm sure that Jerry French and Ed Ward, when they were sitting in the hotel trying to dream up how to split ostrich plumes in half to build the first intruders that were like top secret, nobody knew about, that they held in their hand when somebody came down the river and they didn't let them see it? Yeah, keep trying. We're going to find something new. And if we don't, guess what? We get really good at what we've already got. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So, all right. I just mentioned the taking a look at your materials and thinking about what you can see. So what I meant by that is all my materials are displayed in a way that they're not tucked back in a box and I can't see them. And in order for me to remember that I have them, because I've got a ton, I have to dig through a box and say, oh yeah, I got this color, or I forgot about that for years. If you can see it, you can kind of go through it a little bit, or it might just jog something in your memory, or it's just you don't forget about it as the older we get. Trust me. Two things are going to happen with you younger fellers. You won't be able to remember as well, and I'm here to tell you, you won't be able to see as well either. It really sucks. Okay? So just get used to it, and it's going to be frustrating in the beginning, but you'll learn how to deal with it. Getting older sucks. Anyway, alright, so I really don't know what kind of fly I want to tie this morning. I was on kind of a bunny strip sculpin thing this past week or so. I don't know if you saw a couple of my posts in the Skagit Tire page. Wade Taylor's the administrator of that page. He's doing a really nice job with that page. I think he's keeping the peace there. There's been a few times when got a little heated. Try to avoid that now. I got wrapped up in a couple of them. It wasn't pretty at all. Was it, James? Anyway, I get in these quandaries sometimes of where am I going to go next in my fly tying. And when I do that, a couple things happen. Either I don't tie for a while, or I like to tie from my scrap bin. Yeah. As I tie, I keep a scrap bin here. And all these materials in the scrap bin are capable of being used again for some sort of fly. And I also have a bin that I keep synthetic materials in that are scraps as well that I could use in a composite loop. And then, of course, we have the boxes of shanks and hooks handy all the time. Altoid can full of number 2 Talon Aquafly hooks from Doug Brudico. So I have it all right here. I just can sit right here and come up with something, off the wall. Whatever it may be. That's what happened last night. I just tied a shank and put a bead on it. I thought, I want to tie one of those white mink strips in there and see what that looks like. I'm pretty happy, pretty pleased with it actually. But my point is, you don't have to sit down here with a dedicated pattern. You can just sit down here and how about a little of this and how about a little of that and see what you come up with. I like that. But I do like to kind of figure out a category in my mind before I go on. I haven't done the so Jerry French is one of my favorites. Anyway, he does the Dirty Hoe and he does the oh good gracious, what is it? The shrimp pattern. Oh, the crazy shrimp pattern. Let me grab one. It's got the eyes on it. Yeah. See the eyes there? The green eye. Yeah. Ultra shrimp, I think it is. I haven't done these in a while, but I got so many of them, I don't know if I should tie any more. It's crazy. You know, I probably need to talk to you about something real quick, and that I just thought of it as I was sitting here thinking. Fly size. I probably should tie whatever I tie really, really small, even smaller than you think small is. Almost like trout spay size small. But you throw it on a spay rod or a Scandi rod for steelhead. Couple things there on the small fly. Let me just say this. 6, 7, 8 months ago, I was riding in the truck with John Hazlitt. We were heading to the Applegate River. Now, John and I hang out quite a bit. He's a good friend of mine. He's also my casting instructor, and when we go fishing, we get some truck time to talk. And he looked over at me in the truck and he said, "Scott, I want to tell you something." He goes, "Your flies are coming along nicely. You're learning the spay world genre pretty good." He goes, "But I gotta tell you, I just think they're too big. They're just too big, and you gotta scale that down and back." And I took that as constructive criticism and decided that, well, I'm gonna scale everything down. And so I came home. I took everything that I had that was big and quarantined it off to the side, and then I just started to fill the wall of intrusion with half the size of what was on it. And that was a really good thing. Really good thing. And then, when I was up on the Skagit River with Jerry French in the Aquaflies camp, Jerry and I had a conversation that was also about fly size. And Jerry shared this with me, and it made a lot of sense to me. And it had to do with the smaller fly world, okay? So Jerry's analogy of this was, he said, I love this analogy. He said, imagine, Scott, if you're a steelhead and it was Thanksgiving, okay, and you just got done stuffing your gut with all of the finest things Thanksgiving dinner has to offer, and you are chocked full. Now you're laying on the couch, and you're about to take a nap, and you're tired, and you're stuffed to the max. He said, are you going to get up and go do that again and get another plate? Of course you're not. But what happens when you walk into the kitchen and you walk by all of the food that's on the plate? You grab a little nibble and you nibble on it, even though you're stuffed to the max. And he says that's what happens a lot of the time with the fish. The fish have been feeding. They're feeding all the time. When they get a chance, they're opportunistic. And most of the time, their guts are pretty full. And they tend to eat a potato chip one at a time rather than a giant T-bone all of the time. And so it made a lot of sense to me, and I kind of combined John Hazlitt's observation of size and his analogy of how the fish probably tend to take the smaller fly a little bit better. And I just came down from like maybe a 4-inch intruder is now 2.5, 3-ish. And then my single stations are like a hobo spay. Let me show you a hobo spay right here. This is one of my hobo spays I tied recently. Overall length maybe 2.5, guessing. I don't know, but it's smaller. It's tiny. It's sparse. Um, so I'm probably going to tie something today that's a little bit smaller. Yeah. Um, Not sure what it's going to be yet, but I'll figure it out. Well, the sun's starting to come up, or the light's coming in. It's a foggy morning here out in Oregon. It's about 30 degrees. I can hear the birds chirping. The deer and the turkeys ought to be here soon. I've got a salt block like 15 feet from me right here. I like to feed the birds, and I've heard a few geese flying over this morning too. Well, anyway, I think I'm going to conclude this Sunday morning conversation and clean up my workbench and try and get one wrapped up before my wife and I, Heidi, head into church and continue on with the rest of our Sunday. I hope you've enjoyed Sunday Conversation with Scott. And if you get a chance to subscribe and like my channel, please do. Anyway, have a good rest of the day. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, tight lines. Shoot straight. Keep your gunpowder dry. Have a good one.